JT on the track.
Fuck wrong with you, boy? You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my nigga. Yeah. I'm in it, yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding General. Yeah. Straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown. I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, think you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talking shit. Yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm ripping. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood. I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, the shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complex. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon.
JT on the track.
I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls if you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. We colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fierce taste, he told him make me an apple tree. This in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poker stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantulas. Them mother niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that split. Cause me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yara down, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember, I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
Who knows this? Hold on, let me see. I don't know. What? Shalom, Israel. Yahba Shemal Shabrak Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Thumb by Shemal Shah to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Yah of the ISBK under Commander General Yohana. And this is another Tuesday night Brotherhood class. So, of course, we're gonna get straight into the topic. You understand? You can tell what we're talking about today. You understand the distress, the oppression of Israel, and how it made the children of Israel into madmen. You understand? Salakia. If I could, if I'm moving, if my camera is moving slow, brothers and sisters, put a 1 in the chat. If I'm too wild and y'all can hear me okay, put a 2 in the chat. Baba Kashah. Shout out to my wife, Monica, Nazamana, Yashamal Thunba Shemial Shah. Okay, the water, sis, I appreciate it. All right. Salakia. Y'all bear with me. It's moving slow on my end. Okay, so I'm going to get to the scriptures. Share my screen. Salakia. Okay, this is the book of Ecclesiastes. Damn, Salakia. Mouse is moving real slow. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. You understand? When you look at what happened to the children of Israel throughout our time in this this captivity, you understand that we in right now, and as well as the previous captivities, the Greek captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Roman captivity. Salakia, my mouse moving real slow, y'all. Y'all bear with me. But like I was saying, throughout all of these captivities that the children of Israel had to suffer, you understand, we've always done things that were irrational and not logical. You understand? Like when the scriptures say oppression maketh a wise man mad, that word mad, it has multiple meanings in that scripture. You understand? Mad meaning you upset, angry, and distraught. You understand? Because of the oppression that you're going through at the hands of these other nations. Also, mad means to be out of your damn mind. You understand? Or do things that are irrational or things that makes no sense. You understand? When you look at what's going on with our community as a whole, I'm gonna speak about the Bay Area for right now. You understand? Oakland, California, San Francisco. You understand? Richmond, Vallejo. You understand? Just California in general, right? It's an epidemic in California with a lot of smash and grab robberies out here. You understand? You got brothers that's stealing cars, right? And y'all can look up the statistics on this out here in the Bay Area. You got brothers that's stealing cars and backing their cars into smoke shops, jewelry shops. Like it's a famous jewelry shop out here called Kim 10. You understand? Of course, they Moabites, but they've been servicing the black community, you understand, in Oakland for years, ever since I can remember, right? But brothers backed a car into the jewelry shop in broad daylight. So like, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so y'all can see my face. And in fact, I might just pull an article. You understand? I'm look up the article while I'm talking. But brothers, brothers bagged brothers bagged a stolen car into this known jewelry store in broad daylight. You understand? Right? Ran in there and got jiggy. You understand? Like, Salakia. I'm about to pull up the article right now. Right? And of course, you know, this Kim 10 lady, her and her family, like I said, they've been servicing the black community, selling us jewelry for years. You understand? On top of that, of course, if you understand the culture of the Bay Area street life in California in general, not just the Bay Area, a lot of brothers in California, you understand, Northern and Southern California, they are known to do home invasions and burglaries. Down south of Southern California, they call it flocking. You understand? But up here, you know, brothers call it house licks or what have you, right? But this is a part of the street life culture out here in the Bay Area. You understand? And brothers been oppressed for so damn long, right? They resort to robbing and stealing from people who ain't less fortunate. You understand? A lot of times they tend to single out these Asians because they know the Asians don't use banks, right? And I'm not promoting any of this. I'm just giving you the history of well, I don't want to say the history, but the activities of what's going on in California in general with the children of Israel due to our oppression, right? So hold on. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. How the hell do I get this shit off the screen? I'm gonna just read it like this. It says, Oakland jewelry store ran with vehicle and robbed in broad daylight, right? Oakland, California, and I'm not necessarily gonna play the video or the audio of the video because I don't want to get us flagged, right? Oakland, California, an armed robbery took place Monday afternoon at an Oakland jewelry store after the business was rammed with the vehicle that was left at the scene, police say. Jewelry store rammed and robbed. The Oakland Police Department said the business located at the 700 block of International Boulevard was significantly damaged. Video from the scene shows the front security gate is broken down at Kim 10 Jewelry. Employees were seen trying to clear and assess the damage. There was shattered glass everywhere near the front of the store. police said the robbery happened just before 1:45 p.m. and that officers arrived at the scene to investigate. Now you gotta understand how oppressed the people has to be to ram a stolen vehicle into a known jewelry store. And if you know the city of Oakland, International Boulevard, formerly known as East 14th Street, this is a major street. Like, this street literally goes from the reason why it was called East 14th Street is because Oakland is divided in different sections. You understand? The eastern part of Oakland, right? Your number streets are numbered in avenues. You understand? But if you have like East 15th Street, East 14th Street, you understand the number of streets that have street, they run from East Oakland through downtown to the west side of town. You understand? So International Boulevard is literally 14th Street. So this street goes all the way from San Leandro, you understand? Almost to Hayward, all the way to West Oakland. You understand? So this is a long main street. You understand? Now, you got to ask yourself, why would somebody commit that type of crime, that brazen crime, you understand, at 1:45 p.m. in broad daylight? It's because the children of Israel are oppressed. You understand? It's because the rent is super duper high in Oakland. You understand? Like, you're going to be paying $3,000, right? Or like $2,500, right? To live in a 2-bedroom apartment, you understand? Where it's crime infested, you understand, drug infested. It's going to be brothers hanging out, you understand, in front of your yard, you understand, if you rent a house or if you own a house, you understand, because brothers grew up in these areas and we have different blocks that we call turfs out here, you understand? But the rent is ridiculous in Oakland, you understand? The groceries are going up, you understand? It's really no jobs out here like that. There's not really there's community centers out here, but the money is not being funneled into the black community in order to keep black people occupied with their time and allowing us to prosper in this city. You understand? So a lot of the young cats, they only know how to do one thing. You understand? Or not even know how to do one thing. They take the easy way out, you understand, by going to rob and steal, right? Let me read some more on this article. And another thing too, this is one thing, this is one piece of this story that I left out about this Kim 10 place, right? Kim 10 is a jewelry store known for doing business in the black community, not just selling jewelry to the black community, but also buying jewelry. You understand? And the reason why Kim 10 has a big reputation for buying jewelry is because, like I said, a lot of these young cats out here, they hit house licks or they burglarize houses, right? So what they do is when they come up on a significant amount of gold, silver, you understand, diamonds, precious jewelry, all of that, they take it to Kim 10 and she buys it all. You understand? And she knows that it's stolen. She know what type of what type of business that these young cats is in. You understand? Now, I'm guessing they must have been cracked down on house licks because they like, man, forget robbing a house and going to go sell it to Kim 10. Let's go hit Kim 10. Salakia. You understand? And of course, we not promoting none of this in the ISUBK under Commander General Yana, but I'm gonna give you David. I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna give you a little brief history of David and what happened to him when he was being oppressed. When you being oppressed, you understand, you will go to drastic measures in order to feed yourself, in order to sustain yourself, in order to pick yourself up from a low state of financial being. You understand? And that's what happened. These brothers out here got tired of living on the bottom, you understand, or got tired of seeing. And then if you look at the wealth and the money of the city of Oakland, right? Blacks and Latinos are poor, as you know. You understand? It is no different here in Oakland. You understand? Right? the different part about this city, right, is not only do blacks and Latinos live in the ghetto, but you have heathens that live amongst us in the ghetto, but they not poor like we is. You understand? Like you literally got Asian people that live in our neighborhoods right along with us. We go to school with them. Well, depending on what part of Oakland you from. You understand? If you're from the area of Oakland, like the 20s, you understand? The teen numbers, which we call Funktown out here in Oakland. If you're from closer to downtown by the lake and you live in the ghetto, you got Asians that live amongst you in those communities, right? When you go farther east, you understand, to the high numbers, where you get to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way to the hundreds, it's not really too many Asians, you understand, past the 20s. In the 30s, you got some Asian families that still frequent. By the time you get to the 60s, you damn near probably will never see an Asian. You understand? Unless they just driving through, right? But in our communities, right, when you look at the wealth that's in the city of Oakland, as far as like the residents, those Asians that live in the Dubs and in Funktown, right, they go to school with black kids. They grow up with black kids, but they parents got money. They don't come from a background to where they're poverty stricken. A lot of these nail salons, you understand, these Chinese food spots, the laundry mats, you understand, all of that type of stuff is owned by their parents, the ones that live further down in the city of East Oakland. You understand? Also, when it comes to organized crime in Oakland, a lot of those Asians are a part of organized crime. Right here in Oakland, right now in 2025, they got illegal gambling shacks, meaning the Moabite community or the Asians. You understand? They got illegal brothels. Y'all know what I mean by that. You understand? The majority of those Asians, those are the ones that's bringing all of the firearms to the hoods of Oakland and selling them to blacks and Latinos. You understand? And they successful at it, and the police is turning the eye to it. You understand? But you would have to live out here to understand the underground of what's going on. Right? Arabs too, sis. You damn right. You understand? The Arabics too, right? They running organized crime rinks right up under our noses. You understand? A lot of the controlled substances in the black community are coming from a lot of these Asians. You understand? A lot of these Arabs, right? But of course, because of the children of Israel being I don't want to say we the majority, but it's a whole lot of us out here. See, Oakland is like a different type of city. The majority of Oakland, you understand, the flatlands of Oakland is the hood, for real, for real. You got your Oakland Hills, and I'm speaking about Oakland because this is, the story that we talking about. This city is like a small city. It's only 400,000 people here. It's not a real big major city like a Philadelphia or Chicago, you understand, or Los Angeles. This is a small city, but it's known for being infested with crime. You understand? Because it's a high population, a high concentrated population of blacks and Latinos that live amongst each other. But like I said, we got heathens that live here, you understand, right with us. And they not suffering how we are, you understand? Not only do we have Asians that live in our communities and live way better than us and be living right next door to us, you understand? You got your Polynesians, the Tongans and Samoans, the Hawaiians, you understand? It's a lot of Filipinos, you understand? They not living how the children of Israel are living. You understand? They living deliciously, right? As deliciously as they could out here. I mean, for what I see, they ain't gonna show us exactly what's going on with them. But this store, you understand, was burglarized by all young Judite cats, right? Reading on. I'm going to read that again. Police said the robbery happened just before 1:15 p.m. and that officers arrived at the scene to investigate. An employee told police someone used a vehicle to ram the store. That's when police say some people entered with firearms and took items from the business before fleeing the area. The vehicle was left at the scene. Police say, Police said that they are actively investigating this case. They asked the public for any video or photos that may help with their investigation. What we don't know. Police did not say if anyone was injured. It is not known what was taken or how valuable the items may be. Police did not offer any suspect information, nor did they indicate if any arrests were made. Now, I'm not sure. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see. I'm not sure if this was the same one because, like I said, these are reoccurring things that happens out here, right? But there is one video that I seen of this same style of robbery, and I'm almost about 80% sure that this is the same Kim 10 place that was just hit. They start shooting at the suspects. You understand? And if you've been in this store before, you know very well these people probably lost a couple $1 million with all of the stuff that these cats took up out of there. You understand? Let's lock it. I'm going to go back to the scriptures. All right. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. You understand? The children of Israel that are on a low level, you understand? That's just a common folk in the community. We being oppressed, and we go into drastic measures to try to get some piece of the wealth of this economy. You understand? While we still have, black people that's in high places in America, you understand, that took that gift and destroyed their heart. You understand that sold out the children of Israel for a couple trinkets. You understand? Whatever it was, right? Salakia. Thank you. Salakia. Go to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 26. Matter of fact, no, Salakia. I got to go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, because we got to understand why this is happening with our people. You understand? We got to understand that the reason why the children of Israel are oppressed is because this is the Lord's doing. This is the Lord's doing. Now, of course, excuse me, these heathens took it too far. You understand? But nonetheless, the reason why we have to suffer out these curses and these punishments is because we went against the Most High God. We went against our Heavenly Father to want to be like the other nations. You understand? We took on the customs of the Moabites. You understand? By eating them shrimps in a Chinese food restaurants. You understand? By going to go get the fried rice with the lobster sauce. You understand? And then now you got people like Kim 10, you understand? And a slew of other Asian businesses that rule over the black community, right? It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. We have cursed people in these cities. That's why we stealing cars. We ramming cars into these businesses. Of course, not the ISUBK, but black people, Latinos in general. You understand? We stealing cars, ramming them into these businesses. You understand? And then Salakia. And then looting these businesses because we destroyed, oppressed, and crushed. And hold on, Salakia, let me find another article, right? Because it's another thing they doing too. They hit these gas stations out here too. They doing the same thing to the gas stations, right? So like, yeah. Okay, I found another article. Give me 1 second. Now, I know a lot of people that don't live in the city of Oakland are probably like, what the hell? Okay, this kind of an older article, but it's from this year. Right, hold on. And it ain't stopped. Like it's August right now. They just ran like two or three more gas stations this month. But I'm gonna show y'all this article right here. Right. It says another Oakland Chevron gas station targeted in smash and grab theft, making it the 5th this week. And this is in March. This is March 14th when this came out. So they hit 5 of them that week. And with the gas stations, right? What they doing with the gas stations is they backing the cars into the gas stations and going in there to go find the safes. You understand? That's because we oppressed. Right? Oakland, California. On Friday morning, burglars target yet another Chevron gas station in Oakland. Police say they rammed the vehicle into the building and took off with the safe. This marks the 5th incident this week in Oakland, after 4 Chevron stations were targeted in the span of an hour early Tuesday morning. There's extensive damage done to the side of the building at the Chevron gas station on San Pablo Avenue and 35th Street in West Oakland. Gas station manager, Afterwork Isaias, is worried about his safety. He doesn't want to show his face because he wants everyone to know what happened. Right? So yeah, they doing this all over Oakland. It's not just gas stations. It's any. They doing it to cannabis clubs too. You understand? They ramming the cars into the cannabis clubs. You understand? Going smoke shops, right? Just right around the corner from my house. They did it at a liquor store. So this is like this a reoccurring theme in Oakland. You understand? Because brothers and sisters are oppressed out here. You understand? Now, of course, like I said, we don't promote this in the ISUBK, you understand, nor do we participate in it. But we do understand what's going on. You understand? Oakland is a city that's built on, early on, it was built on the black community had a sense of pride in Oakland with the Black Panthers. You understand? Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, all of them brothers. Like Commander General Yohana broke it down perfectly last night, right? You got the civil rights movement in the 60s, right? This was about black power. You understand? Black culture, brothers and sisters waking each other up. You understand? Having love for each other, right? Then they usher in the 70s with these black exploitation films. You understand? Giving poor people in the ghetto the image of black people in a negative in a negative way. Excuse me, right? You had your pimps, you understand? Your drug dealers. All of these was in these black exploitation films. You understand? Right? And they also put a message in there. You understand? Movies like Superfly, The Mac. You understand? In these type of movies, they had a message in there. It was like it was an evil message, right? The message was be a criminal, you understand? At the same time, though, you sticking it to the man by being a criminal, or you living life as a rebel, being a criminal, you understand, in order to, of course, make something for yourself. But it was more like a rebellion thing in these movies, which that's not a rebellion thing to be a criminal. You're doing exactly what the oppressor wants you to do, right? Then you got the 80s, right? Early, mid 80s when they bring the crack cocaine. You understand? They kicked the father out of the house in the 70s in order for the mother to get the food stamps. You understand? She gotta work all the damn time. So now when you get to the 80s and the mid 70s and then the early 80s, you got kids at the house all by themselves. You understand? Mom's at work. You got role models of these black exploitation films as pimps and hustlers. So when mom's at work, the kids is out doing all type of mischievous stuff. You understand? Then when the 80s come, right? This is the era where the average young kid, and I literally mean kid, even before being a teenager, the average young kid can eventually start selling drugs and make a small fortune for herself right there in front of his mama house while she at work. You understand? She been struggling so goddamn long, she might be a Christian, right? After a while, after she refuses the money for so goddamn long, telling you doing wrong, that's evil, and God don't want none of that blood money. After a while, her struggling, she gonna start to accept some of that money. Go watch the movie. Go watch the TV show BMF. That was a prime example of it. They mama and daddy didn't want nothing to do with that drug money at first. But as they kept struggling, they started to accept little gifts and trinkets here and there. You understand? Turn the blind eye to their sons being full-fledged drug lords. You understand? Right, sis. You damn right. Just like BMF, sis. That's what I was just saying. You understand? Right? Then you got the 90s come in. When the 90s come in, you understand, the mid 80s, all of these kids, you understand, a lot, I don't want to say all of them, but a lot of the mid, late 80s, early 90s babies, a lot of us was crack babies. You understand? Then what happened? You get your early 2000s. You understand? Right before the drill music era. And the ghetto just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse because we're oppressed. You understand? Barakatah Yahweh Shah for Abba Bivens in 1969. Because if it wasn't for Abba Bivens teaching the seven heads this truth and this knowledge, you wouldn't have a Commander General Yana. You wouldn't have a brother that held on to the torch to what God gave us in order to wake up the children of Israel, so we don't have to keep suffering in the ghetto and being an oppressed people. You understand? Us and ISUBK under Commander General Yana, yeah, we struggle. You understand? It's still a struggle. We ain't beat the curses. We ain't got the kingdom yet in the ISUBK, but we don't live life in the same fashion as people who don't have the truth. You understand? We got brotherhood and sisterhood in here. If a brother's late on rent, or if a brother need a couple dollars to get through the week, we hit brothers and sisters up, you understand? And we put funds together for each other, in order for us to be able to sustain ourselves and maintain ourselves, because that's what family does. But in the world, you understand, oppressed people, you understand that's been looking for hope from this goddamn church for 40, 50 years and never got none from it. They tend to become selfish, and then everybody's out to do for self. You understand? And this is why you got all of these brazen smash and grab robberies out here in Oakland, right? Salaki for being long-winded. Go back to the scriptures. Lord said we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. We're going to be cursing that city and cursing that field, right? I'm going to drop down to verse 28. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. That's us here in this empire. You understand? We out of our minds in this goddamn empire, right? That blindness, that's us not having no understanding, you understand, on why this is happening to us. And the reason why we don't got no understanding is because we reject the Bible. The Bible, it seems like a fairy tale and a joke because of the Christian church. Like your pastor has never given you your identity. You understand? Your pastor went with whatever identity that your slave master wanted to call you and told you to just let go and let God. He ain't tell you that the reason why your mama is on drugs or the reason why your grandma is finna die of heart failure or your fathers keep going in and out of prison or your brothers keep getting killed. He not telling you the reason why all of this is happening is because we are the children of Israel and the Lord is chastising us like a good father would do a terrible child. You understand? Verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. That's what's going on with us. You understand? That's why you got brothers and sisters out here that will do anything for $1. This is why you got sisters that's flying to Dubai and getting defecated on by some filthy, stinking Arab. You understand? Doing unspeakable acts to our sisters over there in a foreign country. And I bet you we ain't heard the whole story of it. You understand? Because we oppressed. You understand? We spoiled. We robbed. You understand? Salakia. I'm going to jump down to verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. You understand? We don't know these goddamn people that we serve. These ain't our brothers and sisters that we served for 400 years in this goddamn country, but they ate up all of the resources. Imagine we work for the Jewish man and the British man in these slave plantations, right? From the 1500s, right? All the way to and when I say the 1500s, I'm talking about the North American Indians first. You understand? The so-called Latinos first, right? Of course, of native descent, right? But imagine since the times of Christopher Columbus, right? 1492, all the way to the late 1800s and the early 1900s, where you got these Italian immigrants starting to come over here. These Irish start coming over here. You understand? Right? After the Spaniards and the English then beat our backs, you understand, for 250 something goddamn years, right? Imagine these people come over here, you understand, these new waves of Caucasian immigrants and come over here and eat up all of the goddamn resources that we gave to this country. You understand? If anybody owns a piece of a business that manufactures cotton, you owe black people. You understand? Dole pineapple should be owned by so-called Latinos. Every goddamn piece of produce that you see in these grocery stores should be owned by the children of Israel, right? All of these skyscrapers and these buildings, those big slave plantation houses, when you go down there to any of them goddamn states in the South, right? All of that should be owned by black people, right? But I'm going to read this again. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors. Did we not grow your fruits and vegetables? Huh? Did we not tend to your sheeps? You understand? Your cows, your bulls, right? Did we not do all of this? And all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. You understand? We built up this goddamn empire for the slave master, right? And got him filthy, stinking rich. And you know what happened? When slavery ended, they didn't tell us slavery ended. You understand? On top of them not telling us that slavery ended, they made us sharecroppers because we ain't got no wealth. So we became sharecroppers, and they started paying us pennies on the dollar. You understand? For us keeping them rich. You understand? And it's the same thing as today. You understand? Those so-called Latinos that was picking all of these goddamn fruits and produce for the Caucasian man, yeah, those are sharecroppers. For any one of you fake Israelites to be like Latinos ain't the children of Israel, you out your goddamn mind. They fit the curses more than your white friends, more than the Jewish man. You understand? It's a lot, yeah. Sister Izra said, what's even worse is our sisters go to Dubai and allow these Arabs to do unthinkable, disrespectful things to them because they will pay them $10,000 to humiliate them for self-pleasure. Terrible. Now, that's fact, sis. You understand? That's what I was just talking about. Sisters go out there and they'll go out there and probably receive up to $30,000. You know how much? Like $30,000 is nothing to a goddamn prince of Dubai. That's nothing for them. Like I don't even want to show y'all the video of this Arab, right? But he was like an Arab prince or something, right? And I was watching a video on YouTube. This dude got file, like you know what a big file cabinet is? Remember when you went to school and they had everybody's file, you understand, in the principal's office, right? He had big file cabinets like that of straight like $100,000 watches. One of those goddamn watches, you understand, he's not even paying a sister that much to humiliate her. He got one watch that costs more than what the hell he's going to pay this sister to humiliate her. You understand? Our people got to wake the hell up. Salakia. We go to Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 33. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. When it say Judah and Israel was oppressed together, this is talking about blacks and Latinos. You understand? Blacks and natives. This is talking about these two so-called different ethnic groups when we all one damn family. You understand? We was oppressed together. And these nations that came over here and had us in captivity, they didn't want to let us go. You understand? It's a lot here. Jeremiah 15 and 5. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15 and verse 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? You understand? Oh, nobody got pity on the children of Israel. Didn't they make a Stop Asian Hate Crime bill? Huh? Where the hell was the Stop Black Crime bill? You understand? When that goddamn heathen blew that sister's brains out, you understand, for thinking that she was gonna steal a goddamn orange juice out there in Los Angeles in the 90s. Where was the Stop Asian Hate? What was the Stop Black Hate bill back then? And that sister had the money in her hand about to pay that goddamn heathen. And this heathen got off with community service after she murdered a baby. That girl was 15 years old, about 15, 14 years old. That's a child. You understand? You know why it's like that? For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Don't nobody got pity on the children of Israel. Nobody's going to cry for us. Ain't nobody acquiring these United Nations board meetings asking, well, how are the blacks and Latinos? What can we do to better improve their lives in America? They're not doing none of that. Nobody gives a damn about the children of Israel. That's why we got to give a damn about ourselves. You understand? And these brothers and sisters out here, they know nobody care about them. That's why brothers are committing acts of violence against other people. That's why brothers and sisters are committing crime. You understand? That's why sisters are willing to humiliate themselves for a couple dollars. Because nobody gives a damn about the conditions that we live here in this empire. Right? Matter of fact, let me show y'all what David did. Let's go to 1 Samuel 25. Let me show y'all what David did. I'm going to show you oppression is going to make a smart man mad. You understand? The book, y'all bear with me too. I'm going to be reading a little bit. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 1. And Samuel died, and all the Israelites were gathered together and lamented him and buried him in his house at Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. So Samuel has died. You understand? Brothers and sisters buried Samuel, and we in a state of mourning. You understand? Verse 2. And there was a man in Moab whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. So this man that was at Moab, you understand, right? This was a brother that was rich, right? He was very rich. It said he had 3,000 sheep. Imagine having 3,000 sheep today. That you got some wealth on your hands. Well, this is back in the days. He got some real money. You understand? Verse 3. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the wife of his was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding. These was Israelites, Nabal and Abigail. You understand? She was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. And this sister, she was a charitable sister. You understand? A nice sister, right? A lovely sister, a sister who has some understanding, and she cared about the less fortunate, right? But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. You understand? This is one of the offsprings of Caleb, right? That came up out of the wilderness. This brother was rich. You understand? He had a lot of possessions, but it says he was churlish. Right? Let's look at that word, churlish. I believe churlish is like being a snob or something like that. But let me double check. Yeah, kind. So it says churlish describes someone or something that is rude, bad-tempered, and impolite, often in a sullen or surly way. So this brother was a rich snob. You understand? This is Who can I liken this to? This Steve Harvey, right here in the Bible. You understand? That nigga told Monique, he said, man, you can't be out here telling these white people about themselves. We in the money game. You gonna mess it up for all of us. This is a sellout nigga. You understand? Somebody that love their rich wealth way more than they love their own people. Just like that Caiaphas in the New Testament. You understand? These are some evil bastards. This is your Martin Luther Kings of the day. Your Jesse Jacksons. You understand? Creflo Dollars. All of these sellout niggas who love their wealth more than they love their own people. Right? And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. So Nabal Of course, he got 1,000. I mean, he got 3,000 sheep. This nigga Nabal is not out there shearing the sheep by himself. Nah, he got people that work for him. This is a business he got. You understand? So Nabal is conducting business. He got a whole lot of sheep, so he got people that's shearing his sheep. Verse 5. And David sent out 10 men, and David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity. Don't they like to talk about that prosperity? Yeah, these them prosperity niggas right here, right? Peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Salakia. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we heard them not, neither was there aught missing unto them, all the while they were in Carmel. Ask thy young man, and they will show thee. Wherefore, let the young man find favor in thy eyes, for we come in good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand, unto thy servants, and to thy son David. So David, right? This is what David is asking Nabal essentially, right? David, like, look, man. He basically salute him. Hey, shalom. Yabba Shemal Shabrakatah, right? Yeah, we looked after your sheep. You understand? We made sure didn't nobody mess with them. We made sure didn't nobody touch the men that was tending to your sheep. We made sure that all of your business was taken care of. Mind you, you got to remember, David is in a state of oppression right now. David is on the run. You understand? He on the run from Saul, right? He's not King David yet. You understand, right? He's on the run from Saul, right? David is he's in a state of not having much. You understand? Now, this brother Nabal, he rich. He's very rich. David looked out for him. You understand? Made sure that everything was on the up and up as far as Nabal's business, and David protected his business and his men. He did a service for him, right? So now David is asking Nabal like, "Hey, man, I'm in a bad state right now. Look out for a brother. You feel me? You know, we just need some food, couple garments. You understand? Couple dollars. Look out for us one time. You rich, you got it. You know what I'm saying? We brothers, all of that, right? Now watch what he said. And when David's young men came, they spake on Nabal according to all those words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be? So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told David and told him all those sayings. You know, and Nabal basically just said to David, he like, man, I ain't giving that nigga nothing. I don't know bro like that. Like, man, look, it's a whole lot of poor niggas out here, you know what I'm saying, that's trying to get a couple dollars from me. Now, I don't owe niggas nothing. I ain't giving you Nathan. You understand? That's what he told David. Like, bro, I ain't got it. I ain't looking out for you. Even though this dude is rich, it's nothing for him to just look out for David real quick. Especially when David looked out for this brother by making sure his business was straight. You understand? Kana Yao Shamal Lataba Shemal Shah says the water. You understand? So these young brothers came back and told David, you understand? Hey, David, bro, he ain't messing with us. Like, it's bad. He said it's ugly. He said, hey, nigga, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You understand? Right? Verse 13. Now watch what David said. And David said unto his men, gird ye on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword, And David also girded his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 are bold by the stuff. Man, David said, grab Drake's brother. He said, what? Nabal was acting like a modern day Christian, right? Selfish. Absolutely, sis. You understand? David wasn't having that. David said, grab Drake, brother. He said it's on. You feel me? Nabal playing with us. Get the sticks. You understand? Strap up. We finna go see about this Nabal, nigga. You understand? You know why? Because David was being oppressed and David was hot. He said, hey, what? He ain't finna, hey, get the blitz. We about to go see about bruh on mamas. You feel me? Verse 14. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our matter, and he railed on them. he said that they said he railed on them. Oh, Salakia, hold on. Oh, Salakia. They said he railed on them, meaning he spazzed on them. He went bad on David and them, right? Verse 15, but the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the fields, right? So it's a young cat that's a part of Nabal's shearers. He went to go holler at Nabal's wife, Abigail, like, hey, Salakia says, let me holler at you. David sent some men up here to try to get a couple dollars. Your husband went bad on him. He went to go, like, they went back to go tell David, this ain't finna be cool. You got to understand the reputation that David got at this time. Remember, this is after David killed Goliath. You understand? This is I believe this is after David Salakia. This is after they was making songs about David slaying his 10,000s. They said they was making songs, bro, about David having more bodies than the king. They know how David get out. You understand? Like my New York brothers say, they know David body. They know he put that pain in. You feel me? Right? So he go holler at Abigail, tell her what happened, and this is what Abigail do, right? Salakia. Now, therefore, know and consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our matter and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him. He like, hey, sis, it's about to be bad for Nabal and all of us. You understand? He don't serve the Most High God. He served that money. You understand? He's so evil and pompous in his own ways, can't nobody get through to him. Verse 18, then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisin and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses. Man, look, y'all got to understand what Abigail just did, right? Abigail essentially just saved her husband. And then eventually, when you read on in the story, after her husband dies, Abigail becomes one of David's wives, right? But anyway, right? This sister, let me read what she went to go grab for David. And it show you how greedy this nigga Nabal was. Right? Salakia. We'll read that again. And Abigail made haste, meaning she hurried up and took 200 loaves. She took 200 loaves of bread. Imagine 200 loaves of bread in today's standards, right? This ain't 200 loaves of bread in today's standards. Y'all ever seen the movie Aladdin? Or you ever seen, you ever went to the grocery store and seen one of them big loaves of French bread or garlic bread, them big loaves of bread, yeah, she took 200 of those, right? Imagine 25 loaves of bread, then 50, then 100, then 200. That's a lot of goddamn bread, right? 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed, right? She got 5 sheep to give to them, and 5 measures of parched corn, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on asses. This is a whole lot of food that she about to give these brothers. And it's all David wanted was some goddamn food. But Nabal, being a rich and greedy bastard, he wanted to oppress David. So you know what David said? Grab Drake, brother. You understand? Get the sticks. We finna go see about Cuz, right? Salakia. Let me go to the Maccabees. Right? It's the book of Maccabees, chapter 1. Salakia. Start at verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the gold ornaments that before the temple, which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which were found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having a great massacre, and spoken very proudly. This is Antiochus the third, I believe. You understand? A goddamn Greek that came into our holy land, robbed us blind, and killed a whole lot of us. You understand? Verse 25. And then went back to his own land and spoke proudly on how he did the children of Israel, just like these Caucasians do today. Right? So lock in. Verse 25. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel, in every place there they were, so that the princes and elders mourned. The virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. You know how destroyed you got to be as a people, knowing that you about to consummate your marriage with somebody that you about to spend the rest of your life with. You understand? Have kids with, raise a family with, build wealth with. But you in lamentation, and your wife is sitting in a room about to consummate marriage crying because your people is being destroyed and oppressed. Verse 28. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sends his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. So not only did we get robbed, now we got to pay taxes to these goddamn crackers. Now I do mean crackers. These is Greeks. Verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and the walls thereof. Come on, man. This is what we going through. You understand? Right now. But this is what we went through in the book of Maccabees during the time of the Greeks. You understand? Salakia. I'm going to drop down to verse 64. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. We being slaughtered, robbed, like it's literally the same thing that happened in America. You understand? Salakia. 2. In those days, Mattathias, son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons, Johanan, called Caddis, Simon, called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Avaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphus. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, "Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemies and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers?" Mattathias just said a lot. You understand? He said, "We are destroyed." You understand? That word woe means destruction. He said, man, I'm destroyed. Like, what did I do to deserve to see this holy city that the Lord gave us in shambles? Right? Our people in utter poverty and oppression. You understand? And the sanctuary, our sanctuary, belongs to these goddamn crackers. Verse 8, her temple has become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. This is literally what's going on in America. You understand? Our babies are being unalived. So is our young men being unalived. You understand? You got to pay about 40% of your earnings in taxes. Come on, man. They putting brothers and sisters against each other, and now she taking you to court for welfare. They giving her pennies of this welfare, and meanwhile, the majority of it is going straight back to the government. Same thing that happened right here in the time of the Greeks. Verse 10, what nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Now, the Mattathias just asked a heavy question. And it's really a rhetorical question. He like, who haven't profited and benefited off of us being destroyed? I pose the same question. Don't Arabs profit and prosper off of us being destroyed? Don't Asians do too? What about the East Indians? What about the Tongans and Samoans? You understand? What about Africans? Don't all of these people reap the benefits of the children of Israel being in slavery? You understand? The Arabs, right? All of these different ethnic groups, they came to America and they can set up shop and own businesses, not just out in our neighborhoods, but in America in general, because America got rich because of the slaves of blacks, Latinos, and natives. All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she has become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. Mattathias can't believe what the hell he's seeing. He's mad in his mind because he knows he's being oppressed. You understand? Salakia. Verse 13. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his son rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice. So in the middle of us being oppressed by these Greeks, you understand, in the middle of us being robbed and slaughtered and still having to pay these goddamn taxes, they come and make us to come do the sacrifice of these Greeks. They're literally about to make us sacrifice pigs on altars, which that's against our culture and our customs, right? This is a Hellenization period. Y'all go read this book. You understand? The Harper's Atlas of the Bible. This is a great book to give you context on what happened during the time of the Maccabees. You understand? With the Greek Hellenization of the children of Israel, right? Salakia. I'm going to jump down to verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. I'm gonna break down to what he said to you real quick. Mattathias was just asked by one of these king's officers, by one of these Greek officials that was coming to make the people sacrifice. He said, hey, Mattathias, bro, like I see you. You famous in this city. You got a lot of influence in this city. You understand? And you got a lot of sons and brothers around you. Like you a force to be reckoned with. Hey man, why don't you come sacrifice first in order to get all the rest of your people on board? And we gonna make you a rich man. We gonna give you silver, gold. We got mansions for you, all the wine you could drink. We got it all for you. Come sacrifice this pig. Now listen to what Mattathias say. Remember, Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, for surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Mattathias understands this book. He understands wisdom. Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to all his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's word to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. So Mattathias like, hell no, bro, we not doing that. We keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. We standing zealous for our Lord. You understand? For the way of life that God gave to us. Now, when he get finished talking, and mind you, it say he spoke with a loud voice. He spoke like a man, matter-of-factly. Like, nah, bro, we not doing that. You know what I'm saying? As he get finished speaking, here comes some nigga, some Steve Harvey, some Creflo Dollar walking right past niggas to go up to the altar to go sacrifice the swine's flesh. You understand? Same thing when you see all of these Negroes that go to these restaurants, taking picture of the shrimp and the crab and the lobsters, and they ordering the mussels and they taking pictures and posting it, trying to brag and boast about them doing some goddamn filthy, wicked act that they learned from white people. This was the same pompous attitude that this nigga had when he just heard Mattathias. Nah, bro, we finna keep these law, statutes, and commandments. This nigga looked at Mattathias like, shit, you niggas can do that all you want to. Nigga, I'm finna go eat this pig. Verse 24, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Mattathias was sitting on a horse, and he just looking at this thing like, what the? I know this nigga ain't finna do it. Man, he got to shaking, jumped off that horse, right? Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment, wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. That oppression making that wise man mad. Mattathias was so goddamn mad and inflamed with zeal to serve the Lord. He off that brother right there on that altar, right next to that goddamn pig. Verse 25. Also the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salam. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. Understand this. You understand? Mattathias was oppressed, just like David was oppressed. You understand? Mattathias had the spirit of a warrior on him. Mattathias had zeal to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. But in him being oppressed by these damn Greeks and seeing what happened to his people during this time of our captivities to Alexander and his generals, he mourned sore for the children of Israel. And it made him mad and inflamed with zeal to the point to where he slew one of his own people in order to not be oppressed. Understand this, though. He did it because he was inflamed with zeal to serve the Most High God, and he knew that that wicked Negro would keep them to be oppressed by these Greeks. Now, of course, in the ISUBK, we don't lift a hand to any of you niggas that want to sin. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk bad about you to your face, too. But we ain't going to lift the hand up to you because the scriptures say that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You understand? We're going to fight the oppressor with spiritual warfare. You understand? I'm going to read what Mattathias said one more time. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. Essentially, this is what Commander General Hana is telling you niggas by saying all camps need to come together and come back into the ISUBK. Come back home to the home of the truth. If you zealous for the law, get up under this banner, get in all black, you understand, do your 90 days, become a trooper, become an officer, and be zealous for the law. Be zealous for the law. Be mad for the law because you oppressed and now you know it. With that being said, I'm going to end it. Yahweh Shem Al-Shah, thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal, a thumb by Shem Al-Shah to the sisters. Shalom, Israel.